Daddy kind of dislike.
He want to talk about the kid.
Yeah.
The kids.
He want to talk about the kids. The kids are sweet.
Or more kids.
It's never gonna happen.
Is you sure, naive?
You should be naive.
Nah, bitch.
Scrappy is high-key trying to get back with me at this point. He's sending flowers to my house every day. He wants to do family things, and I am absolutely not an Erica Dixon. You can spin a block with that one, and she is gonna be there for you and your new baby, and probably be best friends with the other baby mama too. But it ain't gonna be me.
I don't ask for none of this. I ain't asked for my mama to go through this, bro.
And it's serious right now, like.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Nigga, I was on the floor crying last night, bro.
Listen, bro. Don't let that.
No, leave my mama, man.
I got people trying to get in my business about the baby and stuff. You know, we got baby mama number 2 mad. Like, I don't know what I did to her. And then my mom, cause she going through it. I mean, at this
What point do I really just say all this? I'm like robbing myself out of just moments in my life because of my loyalty to somebody who never really truly held me down in any capacity.
Scott, why you reach out to her all day?
Because that's what she knew.
I told her I was going through something last night. I said, yo,
And I said, I'm trying to understand what's happening.
my mother is dying.
You being hella dramatic.
I'm really just quiet, period. I ain't even got the strength to do this.
You done talk about me to everybody around this motherfucker.
You done talk about me. You done talk about me. You done told you that how the hell do that. And I down. But you know what? You know what?
Go away.
You know what? You
Saw that. I ain't going nowhere, and that's why you mad. That's why you really mad.
I'm not mad at you, ma'am. I really love you.
Yeah, okay. You blocked her after me and you start back being cool. So she want to know why you blocked her.
I seen how y'all going. I was like, I'm not even part of this.
But you know what, Scrap? I will tell you this. You're wrong because you was flirting with her for a very long time.
You said I was flirting with her?
Why was that wrong?
Show it.
What's wrong with the eye? Don't fuck with the face. Don't even with the
I just want everybody to know I don't give a who Scrap flirts with, okay? She's free to flirt with whoever the
Scrappy was standing there. The words he had hoped to hear rang in his head, but they never did, and his heart was racing. For a long time, he had thought that if he worked hard enough, Bambi would ultimately see him the way he saw her, but her eyes were far away and her face was unreadable. The sun was sinking, casting an orange. The air felt heavy with tension as they stood in the glow across the meadow, and Scrappy's hands trembled as he reached into his jacket pocket and took out a small velvet box. His stomach twisted in knots. This was the moment that would make or break everything. He had spent weeks practicing his words for this. Seeing the joy on her face when she acknowledged that he had, imagine them facing the world together in the future. Their years of friendship, their calm understanding, and their moments of laughing all seemed to be building up to this one pivotal moment. Tenacious, I don't know what to say, Bambi whispered softly, her voice cracking slightly. His pulse accelerated as she walked back slowly, her eyes sinking to the ground. Scrappy, I do care about you, but I don't feel the same way. It is unlikely that I ever will. The world around him appeared to blur the hues of the sky, fading into a murky shade as the words struck him like a blow to the chest. His throat felt constricted, but he wanted to talk to Hayes to let her know that this wasn't a fleeting moment and that he had loved her for so long that she was the only person who had ever really mattered. There was stillness for a long time as the words remained stuck somewhere between his lips and his emotions. None of it seemed genuine, even as the breeze stirred the leaves and a bird's distant call cut through the silence. Scrappy wanted to drop to his knees and plead with her to change his mind since his legs felt weak beneath him, but he knew deep inside that doing so would only make things worse. He opened the box to see the engagement ring sparkling in the gentle setting sun. He wasn't sure why he hadn't tossed it to the floor and left, but he couldn't let go of the dream, even though it was sliding through his fingers. Bambi briefly glanced at the ring before turning back to face him with a dejected expression. I'm so sorry. Tenacious, I've always been there for you, and I've always been loyal. Don't you see that I love you, Bambi? She muttered, her remorse clearly audible in her voice. I never wanted to harm you since you're one of the most important people in my life, but not in that manner. She nodded, a tear streaming from the corner of his mouth as his voice faltered, the pain seeping through the gaps in his normally tough demeanor. The corner of her eye, you deserve someone who genuinely feels the same way as you do, someone who can make you as happy as you deserve to be. I know, and I will always care for you, but love is not something that can be forced. He always thought there was a chance and that love would find a way, but in that moment, it felt like the world was ending. The finality of her words hit him like a frigid wave. His eyes began to well up with tears as he realized that the person he had intended to spend the rest of his life with was disappearing. Scrappy had always taken pleasure in being strong and dependable, but in that moment, he felt weak since his entire existence had been centered around the prospect of a future with Bambi, and now it was gone. Bambi tentatively reached out and placed it. He took a shaky breath to steady himself after she touched his arm gently, saying, "Please don't be upset. I never wanted this to hurt you." He wanted to pull away from her touch to get away from the pain, but instead he found himself staring into her eyes, which he had admired for so long, but now felt like a distant memory. "I'll always be here for you, Scrappy." Silently but correctly, Bambi said. Now that we both need time to sort things out, she abruptly turned and left him standing by himself in the last of the light. He didn't know how long he stood there looking at the empty spot where Bambi had been. The ring in his palm seemed like a reminder of everything he had lost. Scrappy stayed in the meadow, the weight of her rejection crushing down on him like a heavy burden. However, he knew in his heart that he could give up now rather than waiting for the day that Bambi would realize her mistake and return to him, because in spite of everything, including the rejection, Scrappy couldn't give up hope that she would somehow return to his life. And in that silent moment, as the sun's last rays faded beyond the horizon, in the heart of Atlanta, where the streets throb with hip-hop beats and the air is thick with ambition, there was a love story that attracted a lot of attention. He promised himself that he would wait no matter how long it took because, in his heart, love was never meant to be one-sided. Rapper Lil Scrappy, a budding talent, has discovered a collaborator in beautiful model and businesswoman Bambi Benson, and her partner became one of the most talked about couples in the entertainment industry. Their relationship was featured on the reality TV show Love and Pop Atlanta, which allowed viewers to follow their turbulent romance and its ups and downs. For a while, it appeared like they had everything Scrappy had, and their chemistry was indisputable. They were the ideal balance of fire and grace. But like many relationships under the scrutiny of public life, theirs wasn't without its difficulties. There were rumors of infidelity, heated arguments that were publicly displayed, and the strains of constantly being in the spotlight. His gritty, unapologetic rhymes found balance in Bambi, whose poise and elegance grounded him. Limelight, everything started to weigh heavily on them. As time went on, fractures appeared, and ultimately, their love tale ended. Scrappy's public separation was chaotic, and the loss of Bambi was a shock for which he was unprepared. His feelings were intense, and the anguish of losing her struck him hard. Once dominating the stage with his self-assured flow and audacious persona, the man was suddenly left to accept that heartbreak is a reality. Unable to keep the grief from his fans, Scrappy sent notes expressing regret and longing, talking about the void Bambi left in his life, and revealing a vulnerable side of himself that few had ever seen. In sharp contrast to the tough demeanor he had displayed, the emptiness he felt without her by his side made him feel comfortable enough to cry. He pleaded with Bambi to return to his life in an emotional essay, expressing that it wasn't just the loss of love, but also the intense pain of knowing that something lovely had eluded him. It was a heartbreaking moment. When Scrappy talked about his mother, Mama D, she was a constant presence in the background, a strong influence on his life, and her viewpoint was significant. Scrappy was exposed. Mama D also desired for him and Bambi to find a way to get back together.
Me to her. You blocked her after me and you start back being cool. So she want to know why you blocked her.
I said how y'all going. I was like, I'm not even part of it.
Well, you know what, Scrap? I will tell you this. You're wrong because you was flirting with her for a very long time.
You said I was flirting with her?
Why was that wrong?
Show it.
What's wrong with the
want everybody to know I don't give a who Scrap flirts with, okay? He's free to flirt with whoever the he want to flirt with.
She thought they were destined to be together. As he described his mother's hope for family unity, Scrappy's voice wavered, echoing the aspirations of many who wished for their reconciliation. In her quiet strength, Bambi didn't react as Scrappy had hoped. Instead, she carried herself with dignity, choosing not to become embroiled in the public drama, while Scrappy revealed his soul to the world. His mother's voice added a layer of urgency to his cries, as if to say, "You two belong together." Didn't interact with the tearful posts or the emotional posts for her, as if the healing process was already in progress. She didn't need to explain herself, and maybe she had already come to terms with the world's separation, but she wasn't so quick to let go. Fans, media outlets, and followers couldn't help but watch intently, analyzing every social media post, interview, and quick glance. The story of Lil Scrappy and Bambi turned into a spectacle, and people wondered if time could mend the harm done, or if love was strong enough to heal the wounds of betrayal. Even though neither Lil Scrappy nor Bambi made any public statements about their relationship, the rumors persisted, and fans were left wondering if the love they once witnessed between Scrappy and Bambi was really gone, or if the pressures of fame had finally torn them apart. As the weeks turned into months, there were rumors circulating about their relationship status, with sightings of them together at events fueling speculation that perhaps they were trying to work things out. It was just buried under the burden of everything they had gone through, and in the interim, they both concentrated on their work. For Bambi, life went on as well. She delved deeper into her business endeavors and continued to build her brand. The strength she displayed during this time was a testament to her resilience as she worked tirelessly to carve out her own path. Scrappy released new music, channeling the heartache he was going through into his art. His tracks were full of vulnerability, revealing the pain and regret that had taken over his soul. Path outside of the turmoil that surrounded her personal life as the months passed, the public's interest in the couple waned, but the memory of their love story persisted. While some people still held on to the hope that they were meant to be together, others came to terms with the fact that their chapter had ended and the two had gone their separate ways. But Lil Scrappy's tears, his entreaties for Bambi to come back, and his mother's heartfelt words continued to reverberate in the hearts of those who had witnessed their love story because of his vulnerability. As the years passed, the story of Lil Scrappy and Bambi evolved from a public spectacle to a reminder of the complexity of love, the strength of personal development, and the influence that family can have on one's choices. He was a deeply human man who loved with all of his heart and was willing to own up to his mistakes. For Bambi, the journey was one of self-discovery and empowerment as she forged her own path in the world without being defined by the man who had once been her everything. Scrappy's tale served as evidence of the vulnerability that comes with love and loss, while Bambi's journey represented strength and independence. Though their relationship had permanently altered both of them, it's possible that this is what made their story so unforgettable in the end. Whether they would eventually find their way back to one another or not, the love they shared, the heartbreak they experienced, and the lessons they learned would always be a part of their individual legacies, written in the music they created and the lives they led.
And it's serious right now, like,
You know what I'm saying, bro? Nigga, I was on the floor crying last night, bro.
listen, don't let that
Nah, nigga, my mama, man.
Now I got people trying to get in my business about the baby and stuff. You know, we got baby mama number 2 mad. Like, I don't know what I did to her. And then my mom, cause she going through it. I mean, at this
What point do I really just say all this? I'm like robbing myself out of just moments in my life because of my loyalty to somebody who never really truly held me down in any capacity.
And why do we talk to her all day?
Because that's what she do.
I told her I was going through something last night. I said, yo,
And I said, I'm trying to understand what's happening.
my mother is dying.
You being hella dramatic.
I'm really just quiet, period. I ain't even got the strength to do this.
You done talk about me to everybody around this motherfucker.
You done talk about me. You done talk. You know how the hell do that? And I down. But you know what?
Go away.
You know what? You
All that. I ain't going nowhere. That's why you mad. That's why you really mad.
I'm not mad at you, Bam. I really love you.
Yeah, okay.